want you to go to Genesis 37 and 19. Genesis 37 and 19. Just that one verse I want you to look. It says, then they said to one another, look, this dreamer is coming. Well, let's do the 20th one. It says, come therefore, let us now kill him and cast him into some pit. And we shall say some wild beast has devoured him. We shall see what will become of his dreams. Want to talk this morning, what becomes of his dreams? 2020. Tomorrow is a federal holiday for Dr. Martin Luther King. Many of us will be doing different things around the country. But in Virginia, there is a group of white supremacists that's having a pro-gun rally and have formed groups all over the country. They arrested 7 men this week, 3 of which were headed to Virginia, with 1,500 rounds of ammunition, saying they wanted to kill blacks and Jews. But it is not only those that we hear on the surface. It is the institutional bigotry that we continue to see every day. Even in a good economy, blacks are still doubly unemployed to whites. And many of us that have jobs are not getting wages that we can take care of our family. People call me on my radio show and say, well, unemployment is down. Yeah, we're 6% unemployed, whites 3%. But the wages, I led a march in Florida Monday, the wages don't cover us. $12 an hour for somebody working in a school. They got a job, but they can't take care of their family. In slavery, we all had a job. There was no unemployment in slavery. We just didn't get paid. So in 2020, as we deal with King Day, we have to measure where we are and where we need to go. And it's not just Trump is the problem. Trump represents the problem. Trump just bringing out what a lot of folks felt about us all along. But let me put it this way. In 1863, there was the culmination of the Civil War. The Confederates had gone as far as Virginia, was coming up through Richmond, almost about to go into Washington, D.C. Frederick Douglass and others had tried to convince President Abraham Lincoln that you're going to have to let the slaves join the Union Army. Otherwise, you're going to be defeated. And reluctantly, Lincoln freed the slaves only in the Confederate states, let them join the Union Army, and they fought back and beat back Robert E. Lee and the Confederates. As part of the deal, Lincoln said that I will sign an Emancipation Proclamation. And January 1st, 1863, the slaves in the Confederate states, they didn't free the slaves up north, that Confederate states would be free. That's why watch night service in black church always was different. A lot of y'all think watch night is about just being in church after midnight and then going to the party after, acting like you didn't go to church. Watch night for us was waiting for midnight to see if we could really walk off the plantation. So that was 1863. 100 years later, exact, 1963, is when they went to Washington and they went to the Lincoln Memorial. Some of y'all never stopped and thought about, why did they go to the Lincoln Memorial? They didn't go to the Jefferson Memorial. They didn't go to the Washington Monument. They went to the Lincoln Memorial. Why did they go there, Sharpton? Because Dr. King stood up that day in front of Lincoln's statue and said, you promised that we would get full rights. You promised. I come to challenge you about the promise. Jefferson didn't promise us nothing. Washington didn't promise us nothing. You promised. And he said that we fought the fight. Lincoln didn't free the slaves freed Lincoln. We fought every war since then. We fought World War I, fought World War II. We beat Germans that could come to the country and stay in hotels we couldn't stay in. We fought the Korean War. You promised. And you must remember in 1963, when they went to Washington, Dr. Bryant, they couldn't even check in a hotel until they got across the Mason-Dixie line. They had to ride back of buses. Many that came to that march from the South had to fry their chicken and put it in paper bags because a restaurant wouldn't serve them a meal. And as Dr. King talked about that promise, he ended the speech by saying, despite all that y'all have done, I still have a dream. I'm going to tell you the reality, but I'm also going to give you the dream. Because dreamers are those that can deal with reality, but can also see what realists can't see. If all you can deal with is what you see, you'll get stuck there. But everything that we're looking at was somebody's dream. We used to just squat down. Somebody dreamed up a chair. We used to holler loud. Somebody dreamed up a microphone. Everything was something that wasn't there until somebody dreamed it and brought it into being. It takes courage, though. It takes tenacity. It takes discipline. Everybody in there had a dream in their life. Those that achieve it are those that are committed. Those that don't, if I went around this church with thousands here, everybody can tell me why somebody else blocked their dream. Don't nobody block your dream but you. Which brings me to my text. Dr. King wasn't the first dreamer I studied. There was a man in the Bible named Joseph. Joseph had 10 brothers. But the strange thing about Joseph is Joseph kept having dreams. And Joseph told his brothers his dream. He said, I dreamed that I was up and y'all all came around me and had to look up to me, and they resented it. Let me tell you something, when you share your dreams, everybody is not going to be patting you on the back. All your loved ones, they ain't going to want to see you achieve your dreams. You be thinking everybody happy for you and people be mad at you. His own brothers got mad and angry about who does he think he is. Then they brought him to Jacob, and he told Jacob, I see where I'm standing up and y'all are going to come and I'm going to bless you. Even his father said, who do he think he is? And the resentment built so. Till one day they were off doing what they were to do, and they looked and he was coming from afar. It got to my text, said, here come the dreamer. Some of y'all been like that, the ones people laugh when you come. Here come the one believe all that stuff. The dreamer. Here come the one that just don't know how to fit in with us. Here come the dreamer. Can't just hang out, always got something else. Can't just settle like the rest of us, want to do better. Here come the dreamer. And their envy was so till they said, let's slay him and see what happens to his dream. And Reuben, his brother, had little mercy. God always has a ram in the bush. God always got somebody that'll plead your case that you may not even know was there. Reuben said, well, let's not kill him. Let's just put him in the pit and dip some blood, kill the animal, dip some blood, and go home and tell daddy some wild beast devoured him. And they threw their brother in the pit. Now, watch this. This is where you get messed up. Joseph could have stopped when he was thrown in the pit. But one thing about dreamers, you can dream anywhere. Just cause you attacked me, just cause you put me in a pit, you can stop me from walking, but you can't stop me from dreaming. And even in the pit, Joseph kept dreaming. Dreamed all his way into the kingdom. And when they set him up, put him in jail because he refused to violate the ruler's wife. And she set him up and put him in jail. Even in jail, he kept dreaming. What am I trying to say? It does not matter where you are. Don't give up your dream. Your location has nothing to do with your destination. Well, Mal, I was dreaming of so-and-so, but so-and-so did so-and-so to me. Keep on dreaming anyhow. And it's a funny thing happened. The king started having dreams. And he sent for the wise men, and they couldn't tell him what the dreams meant. And he sent for all of the interpreters, and they couldn't tell him. And somebody said, well, you know, we got a guy locked up. That's that part that old folks used to tell you, your gifts will make room for you. You just keep doing what you're doing. Somebody will tell somebody about you after a while. And they said that there's this guy that he interpreted the dreams of everybody in the dungeon with him. King said, well, go get him. And they brought him, and then Joseph said, well, explain to me the dreams. And when he told them what he dreamed, he said, well, I'll tell you what it means. You're going to have 5 years of plenty in Egypt, and then 5 years of famine. If you save up in the 5 years of plenty, you'll get through your 5 years of famine. And the dream came true, and he became the governor. He went from convict to governor. But as he sat there in his position of governor, he looked out one day, and here came some young men that needed to get food because the famine had bothered them. They needed grain. And when he looked down, it was his brothers that had bowed prostrate before the governor, not knowing it was their brother. And your mind had to go back, let's slay him. Let's see what happened to his dream. His dream never was that he was better than them. His dream never was that he was higher than them. He was seeing in advance that the day would come, that they would have to come to him, and God would use him to serve them and save them and feed them. That's why don't mess up God's dream for you by trying to water it down and make it all right with somebody. What God gave you, that's what God intended to give you. Some of y'all sitting right here now, God gave a calling, and you trying to water it down, trying to fit it in so your friends and family's comfortable with it. Quit trying to break down what God getting ready to stand up in you. Mrs. King used to tell us how when Dr. King grew up right here in Atlanta, Georgia, couldn't go to regular elementary school, had to go to the black school. As he got older and stood up and fought, they put him in jail in Montgomery, locked him up in Birmingham. As he went further trying to build an economic movement, the white banks wouldn't give loans to blacks. But he kept on dreaming. He kept on marching. And tomorrow morning, Jamal, every bank gonna be closed. Every school gonna be closed. All the jail keepers can stay home. From a black boy from Atlanta, Georgia, that kept on dreaming. The school that wouldn't let him go will be closed tomorrow morning. The jail that he stayed at in Birmingham, the bailiff can stay home tomorrow. The United States government is closed down for a dreaming black boy from Atlanta, Georgia. I come to tell you that I learned in my life to keep on dreaming. I thought I'd come by to tell you the reason Dr. King is in history is he never gave up his dream. He had a sit in the back of the bus, but he didn't have a back of the bus mentality. I don't care where you are in life, you go and chase your dream. You may be broke, but dream about big money. You may be sick, but dream yourself into health. You may come from a broken home, but you just different pieces about to be put back together. Don't let them take your dream. See, folks, Dr.